It's a lovely day today, so whatever you've got to do, you got a lovely day to do it in, that's true. And I hope whatever you've got to do is something that can be done by two, for I'd really like to stay.
Welcome to Ask Aunt Ann. It's a lovely day here, and I hope it's a lovely day where you are. We have a wonderful show planned for you today. Even though it doesn't feel like it right now, we know that spring is right around the corner. So today, we're going to get ready for it. We have natural cleaning tips for you, info on starting plants indoors, and we're going to take a field trip today to the vet. And of course, we'll have a special musical number for you, because springtime and music go hand in hand. There is just something so invigorating about spring cleaning, making everything fresh and clean. So why would we want to do that work with chemicals? And they're expensive chemicals. Here's my list of essential green and thrifty cleaning products that I borrowed from fellow homemaker Ruth at livingwellspendingless.com. The first is white vinegar, baking soda, a lemon or lemon juice, salt, olive oil, ivory bar soap, liquid dishwashing soap, washing soda, borax, and a little bit of essential oil for a nice scent. You'll also want to have these tools on hand: clean rags, scrub brush or sponge, squeegee, empty spray bottles and lidded containers, a broom, a mop, and a vacuum. With these items, you can make cleaners for the bathroom, toilet bowl, glass, stainless steel, and floors. You can even make furniture polish, dishwasher and laundry detergent, fabric softener, and my favorite, all-purpose cleaning spray. Here's how to make that. I already have my 4 cups of hot water in the bowl. Next, you take 1 tablespoon of borax, 1 tablespoon of washing soda, 1 cup of vinegar, and this is just plain old white vinegar. Add that to the mix. And then we're going to put in 25 to 30 drops of essential oil. I'm not going to use quite that many right now, but this is just a nice orange scented oil, which is great for a cleaning product, nice and fresh. And then we just whisk it all together, whisk it well in a large bowl, and it gets nice and fizzy. And then you can pour it into a spray bottle. Just spray it on, and then just wipe it clean with a damp cloth. And this can be used to clean and disinfect just about any surface. Check out Ruth's website for 10 great cleaning formulas. I'll put a link on my website to her handy 1-page printable guide. And let me know how these work for you. Leave a message on my Facebook page or email me through my website, askauntAnn.com. So now you have some great cleaning products and it's time to start. Spring cleaning means doing more than your normal cleaning routine. This is deep cleaning. The most important thing is to decide how much time you have to clean. You may have to spread your tasks over a week. So figure out your schedule and stick to it. Okay, let's get started. First thing, clean up the clutter. Remove, recycle, or repurpose things you don't use. Just this step will make your home look wonderful, but don't stop there. The next thing to do is work in zones from top to bottom. You can do this a room at a time if your schedule is tight. Always work from the top down. In the top zone, which is above your head, dust or vacuum upper ledges and above cabinets. And don't forget those pesky cobwebs in the corners. Clean air vents, dust or clean ceiling fans, dust or wash light fixtures, clean high windows, and change light bulbs and replace air filters. Now's the time to see if the ceiling and walls need to be washed or repainted. Next is eye level. Wash, iron, and rehang curtains. Some may need to be dry cleaned. Dust bookshelves and other tall furniture. If you have the time, take your books off the shelves and wipe the page edges. Start at the spine on top and work your way around. A vacuum or microfiber cloth both work well. Wash windows inside and out. Dust and clean pictures, mirrors, clocks, and other wall hangings. Then, waste level. Dust surfaces, polish wood furniture, clean leather furniture, vacuum and spot clean upholstered furniture and pillows. Vacuum and clean your television, computer, and other media equipment, but be sure you check with the manufacturer's instructions for proper methods. Flip, rotate, and vacuum your mattresses. And finally, the bottom zone. Clean and wax or seal the floors, vacuum rugs, machine wash or dry clean area rugs and shampoo carpets, dust baseboards, sweep front and back porch steps. And now for some things that don't fit into the zones. Vacuum and clean grates, coils, and condensers on furnaces, refrigerators, stoves, and air conditioners. Remove filters in furnaces and air conditioners and either clean or replace them. Check smoke detector batteries. Replace them every 6 months. Also test batteries on carbon monoxide detectors and flashlights and inspect fire extinguishers. In the kitchen, clean and organize your refrigerator and freezer. It seems like a lot of work, but it is well worth the effort. Up next, our local gardening guru, Eddie. We had a letter from Mr. Stanley Rutledge, who lives in Palmyra. He writes, "Dear Aunt Anne, my wife and I love your show, and we're hoping you can give us some tips on how to start our garden plants indoors. Keep up the good work." Thanks, Stanley. It's really fun and thrifty to start your own garden plants from seed, but it can be frustrating if it's not done right, so I've called in an expert. Hi, Eddie. Thanks for stopping by today.
Hi, Ann. I'm happy to do it. I'm never one to pass up a chance to get my hands in the soil. Do you know why we need to start seeds indoors, Ann?
I do, Eddie, but please share with our audience.
Well, many of our favorite flowers and vegetables, like tomatoes, peppers, squash, and beans, come from places like Central America and Mexico, where they've had many more hours of sunlight in their growing season. These seeds will not sprout in soil that's still cold in spring, and the fruits need more sun to ripen than is available in late fall.
So starting seeds indoors gives plants a head start and gives us more vegetables. I can't wait to get started. What is Stanley's first step?
Well, Stanley, the first step is to know which plants do well with being transplanted and which ones should be planted directly in the garden, like leaf lettuce, carrots, radishes, peas, and corn. Most of the seed packets that you'll find out there will give you this kind of information. You can also get this information from the internet, from books, or from master gardener programs in your area.
I'll bet the library would be a great place to start this research too.
You bet, Ann. You know, it sounds like Stanley hasn't started seeds before. So doing some research would be a good idea, and it would be smart not to take on too much in his first try. Stanley, I suggest you start with a couple of dozen plants and 3 or 4 varieties just to see how it all works. And then next year, increase. Now remember, different plants have different needs, so consult the seed packet, usually right on the back, to find out how many weeks they need to grow indoors before you can safely put them outside. Many vegetable seed packets state a number of days to maturity, such as 65 days or 80 days. Make sure you know whether that means days from sowing the seed or days from transplanting outdoors. It varies from vegetable to vegetable. Starting seeds is not complicated or difficult if you understand the process. The basic ingredients include a proper growing medium, containers, light, warmth, water, and attention. So, a growing medium. Seedlings are very delicate. For the best chance of success, you want to start them in a fresh, sterile seed starting mix that's light and fluffy to hold just enough moisture. If the growing medium is too wet or not sterile, disease can strike. If it's too heavy or sticky, fine new roots won't be able to push through it. You can also use bagged seed starting mix or buy compressed pellets like these. These expand when they get wet. Why don't you show us, Ann?
Oh, sure, Eddie. Just pour it right in there.
Yep. And you'll see usually within just a few seconds it expands and it becomes where it'll absorb the moisture and become able to be planted in.
Oh, sure.
Now, since the seeds contain the nutrients that the seedlings are going to need, you really don't have to worry about having fertilizer in your seed starting mix.
What about the containers? Do we need something special?
Anything that will hold the growing medium should work just fine. You can use cell packs or pots from last year's annuals, even yogurt cups or other found containers. But you must clean them and sterilize them in a solution of 1 part bleach to 9 parts water. Make sure they have good drainage holes in the bottom also, so excess water can drain away. And get a shallow waterproof tray that'll hold them. Another alternative is pots that break down in the soil. You can actually plant these right into the garden and avoid disturbing the young plant's roots. Some are shaped from compressed peat, or you can make your own from newspaper.
I like to make my own, Eddie, and I made a few for you to use today.
Oh, that's fabulous, Ann.
You can make these yourself. It's an easy origami folding method. I've posted the link to the directions on my website, askauntAnn.com. It's recycling at its best.
Thanks, Ann. These are wonderful. Nice and sturdy, so transferring to the garden will be nice and easy. So let's get to light requirements. Seedlings need lots of light, or else they'll be stocky and spindly and feeble. Most gardeners use artificial light so they can raise more plants and make sure that they get enough rays. You can try an inexpensive T8 fluorescent shop light from the home improvement store. You need a wide spectrum of light, so use one cool white tube and one red light tube in your fixture. The crucial thing is to rig the light fixture so that you can raise it. You must keep the lights just 3 to 4 inches above the plants as they grow. Most often a shop light is hung from open link chains with S-hooks, so as the plants grow, the light can be lifted link by link so it stays right above your plants. If you have a short memory, like me, get a lamp timer to turn the lights on and off so the plants get 16 to 18 hours of light every day and a good rest at night.
We need a different environment for the seeds to sprout, right?
We sure do, Ann. To germinate the seeds, you don't need light, but you do need warmth. So you can do that by putting the containers on top of the refrigerator or clothes dryer, by propping them up a few inches above, not on, a radiator, or by using special heating mats that are sold just for that purpose. Once they sprout and are about a ½ inch tall, that's when you want to move them under your lights. Room temperature between 60 and 70 degrees is perfect.
How about watering?
Well, Ann, let's plant some seeds right now, and we'll talk about that. You want to sow the seeds in the moistened mix. So we've already got some here that was dampened a little bit ago. What you want to do then is cover the containers to hold in the humidity while the seeds germinate. With the cover from your kit or with a loosely fastened plastic bag, once they sprout, you want to uncover your container and water it from the bottom by pouring water into the tray. Never water the seed starting mix from the top because that can lead to disease and may dislodge or damage your sprouts. Make sure that air circulates freely so humidity isn't trapped around the plants. Now, we aren't quite done. Most importantly, you have to check your seedling daily because you need to see if the seeds have sprouted, if it's time to remove the cover, and when to move the sprouts under those lights that we talked about. You need to make sure that they stay properly moist, and remember, you have to raise the lights so that they stay just the right distance above the plants. This sounds like it can be time-consuming, but believe me, you will look forward to watching these seedlings grow. So, now you have these great plants. What next? Well, watch the weather. Some crops can go outside earlier. Again, remember to take a look at your seed packet carefully. But most should stay indoors until after the last frost date for your area has passed and your soil has warmed. If your area is having a cold spring, hold off. Better safe than sorry. You have a lot of time invested, so don't blow it by getting impatient. And remember to introduce your plants to the outdoors gradually. Start with just a few hours, one fine spring day, and then a few hours more the next. Give your plants a taste of the outdoors, but bring them in at night. After a week or so, they will have acclimated to the outdoors and they'll be ready to transplant.
What a great project to start bringing a little spring into our home. I hope you'll come back later and share some of your harvest.
You bet I will, Ann. You know, I'll be happy to. Hope you consider starting some plants or flowers for yourself.
Oh, I will. Besides working in the dirt, Eddie is a wonderful singer.
Oh.
And I asked Lee to stop by to play, just hoping he would honor us with a spring-inspired song. Will you, Eddie?
I'd love to, Ann. Hi, Lee.
Hi.
So, what are we going to be doing today?
How about this song from South Pacific?
Oh, that sounds like an excellent choice. I touch your hand and my arms grow strong, like a pair of birds that burst with song. My eyes look down at your lovely face, and I hold the world in my embrace. Younger than springtime are you, softer than starlight are you, warmer than winds of June are the gentle lips you gave me. Gayer than laughter are you, sweeter than music are you. Angel and lover, heaven and earth are you to me. And when your youth and joys invade my arms and fill my heart as now they do, then younger than springtime am I, gayer than laughter am I, angel and lover, heaven and earth, and I with you. And when your youth and joy invade my arms and fill my heart as now they do, then younger than springtime am I, gayer than laughter am I, angel and lover, heaven and earth am I with you.
Thanks, guys. That was great.
You're welcome.
Now it's time for another viewer question. Dear Aunt Anne, I was given a wonderful dog for Valentine's Day, and I need some advice on how to take care of him. When do I take him to the vet? What do I have to know about when the weather warms up and we're outside more? Joyce Douglas, Concord. Great questions, Joyce. I think we need to make a trip to our local vet to answer those questions. I don't have a dog, but I know someone who does. I spoke with my neighbor Jimmy, and he has agreed to let me take his dog Lucky to the vet to ask the doctor some questions. Jimmy's outside right now playing with Lucky. Let me give him a call. Jimmy, do you want to get Lucky? I'm ready to take him to the vet.
Oh, okay. Let's get him into your car then.
Hi, everybody. We're here at the Lake Mills Veterinary Clinic to visit Dr. Stork, who is Lucky's vet. Dr. Stork, we had one of our viewers ask us about how we can make the transition from winter into spring easier for our pets. What would you recommend?
Well, actually, that was a fabulous and intuitive question that your viewers asked, and it prompted quite a bit of thought on my part, because obviously the things that we most commonly think of when it comes to springtime and pets is ticks, which is about the first, second, and third thing we have a tendency to be concerned about. And in spite of the fact that this morning it was 10 degrees outside and we still have a foot of snow on the ground, we are easily and reliably no less than 6 weeks away from our first tick. One of the most important components that we are concerned about is protecting these guys against pleasing ticks. And of course, heartworm disease, which we see heartworm disease a fraction as much as we once did. I've been working in the veterinary clinic since I was 14 years old, and in 1979, we saw literally hundreds of cases of heartworm disease on an annual basis in a practice about this size. The reason why we see heartworm disease much less frequently than we used to is because we've been very diligent about prevention, and the prevention is very easy. It's never been more convenient and more effective. But we actually recommend heartworm protection year-round. So heartworm protection, flea and tick protection are also absolutely crucial. Lots of thought that your questions, your viewers' questions, actually rose among Dr. Clark and myself. My associate, Dr. Clark, is a certified canine rehabilitation therapist, and she also participates in ski juring. It's the same sport where you take two reliable dogs and put them in harnesses and strap them to your waist, put a pair of skis on your feet, and you see how fast and how far you can go.
Right.
It is not anywhere close to organized chaos, but both she and the dogs absolutely love it. So, long story short, she spends a lot of time thinking about athletic dogs. Well, from our side of the table, what we hear a great deal is with regard to the couple pounds, 2 pounds, 4 pounds, 6 pounds that our pets gain over the winter time is, gosh, he just didn't want to go outside. It was too cold. He was picking up his paws, didn't want to walk outside. And as a result, put on some extra pounds. And as well, we have a tendency to think of our pets as being perpetually fit, but just like us, if they spend from October until the 1st of March inside being dramatically less active, they're also going to be dramatically less fit. Another thing that Dr. Clark brought up that not everybody thinks of, when we hear about, maybe like ourselves, hydrate or die, and you can't tell your dog, you can tell your dog that you're going to go for a walk in 2 hours, but he may not take that as a sign to go over and take a big drink of water, so he's well hydrated. We also will be very careful when our pets are in the throes of exercise wanting, panting, that's not the time for them to take a big drink, because there's a condition called gastric dilation involved in this that can be life-threatening and is common among dogs that eat or drink excessively while they're extremely worked up. And so what Dr. Clark will do is she will prepare a bowl of baked water, meaning you take some canned food, for example, intestinal low fat or whatever you might prefer. Might even take a little bit of leftover gravy, a little bit of leftover mashed potatoes, mix that in with a bowl of water. The immense majority of dogs will drink it. Therefore, they get started in the training program well hydrated. And that can make a big difference, because a great deal of symptoms that we perceive when we exercise as fatigue is actually dehydration or electrolyte. Those are some of the big things that we take into consideration. Intestinal parasites are a big deal as well, because we have a tendency to think of parasites being more prevalent in dogs that are out in the country or on farms. But actually, in Lake Mills, I expect that it's very similar in Watertown. Where do people walk their dogs? On the sidewalk. Where do their dogs eliminate? Next to the sidewalk. And everyone, as we know, is absolutely diligent about cleaning it up when you do, but unless you take a divot and the dog poos, there's going to be residue. And that's where parasite eggs can exist. Do you have more questions?
I think that answers a lot of my questions. And I think just as pet owners, we should just take a little bit greater care as we make that transition into the warmer months.
Yes, and you know, at the risk of plugging the veterinary profession, one of the things that's well worth mentioning is our technicians who handle inventory work very hard with our reps to keep our prices. And in most cases, we're less expensive than the internet. We're able to offer rebates that are not available even in the big box store. With all due respect, they might be able to offer those products for less.
Well, thank you so much for allowing us to come visit and for taking the time to answer our viewers' question today.
It was a wonderful question, and we're happy to do it.
Thank
very
you.
much.
What a lovely day we've had. I think we're really ready for spring. And to top it off, I have a beautiful poem to read you. Spring Song by Lucy Maud Montgomery. Hark, I hear a robin calling. List, the wind is from the south. And the orchard bloom is falling, sweet as kisses on the mouth. In the dreamy veil of beeches, fair and faint is woven mist, and the river's orient reaches are the palest amethyst. Every limpid brook is singing of the lure of April days. Every piney glen is ringing with the maddest roundelays. Come and let us seek together springtime lore of daffodils, giving to the golden weather greeting on the sun-warm hills. Ours shall be the moonrise, stealing through the birches ivory white. Ours shall be the mystic healing of the velvet-footed night. Ours shall be the gypsy winding of the path with violets blue. Ours at last, the wizard finding of the land where dreams come true. Thank you for spending some of your day with us. I'll be back next month with a show you're sure to enjoy, so please join us.
It's a lovely day today, so whatever you've got to do, you got a lovely day to do it in, that's true. And I hope whatever you've got to do is something that can be done by two, for I'd really like to stay. It's a lovely day today, and whatever you've got to do, I'd be so happy to be doing it with you. But if you've got something that must be done, and it can only be done by one, there is nothing more to say, except it's a lovely day for saying it's a lovely day.